Good morning! It is a dark 5:40 a.m. and we have got a bit of a drive to make it to the Apple Store on time, so I'm leaving pretty early, but I'm excited to finally see Dynamic Island in person, as well as test out the new cameras. But yeah, we've already got the pre-order figured out, and I got the QR code on my phone. This will be the first time I actually try to unbox the new iPhone right from my car, because I've got fast chargers built into the car and I've got fast cellular speeds from the parking lot, so this should be an interesting experiment, but I think I'm ready to go. I got Navigate on autopilot already, and hopefully the car can do most of the driving for me. Let's begin. And poof, just like that, we made it here. I arrived a little bit early, but I just wanted to beat any potential lines. There's usually not a ton, but I like to be first, if at all possible, like many of you who comment on these videos. The car handled great. I actually averaged a very low watt hours per mile, 212, in case anybody was curious. This is the most efficient vehicle on the market. Couple that with the clean energy charging feature that they just rolled out with iOS 16, and we have our most environmentally friendly iPhone pickup experience. So now we just wait and hope that the Apple Store opens on time, and then we'll be back here ready to unbox. We're in the building. Let's see if anyone else is in line. And boom, easy peasy, just like that, we picked up the 14 Pro Max in store. Unfortunately, I was not the first in line. I was just a little too comfortable inside the Tesla watching YouTube and decided to wait until about 20 minutes before 8 a.m. And in years prior, I would try to go in like an hour early and the doors were locked and security would ask me to leave. And I just didn't feel like doing that this time, but very easy process. I just walked in, told them my name, and they brought out the phone within a matter of minutes. And at first they told me to wait and not move, which kind of sucked because I wanted to go play with the 14 Pros, but it wasn't too long of a wait. Finally got my chance to play with some demo units, flipping the ringer switch back and forth just to watch the Dynamic Island be so dynamic, and got to check out the new colors. The new red for the regular iPhone 14. It doesn't show up on camera, but it is extremely bright. Like, oh my god, kind of hard to look at red. I think I personally prefer the red on the iPhone 13 series, and the purple was better than I expected. You know, on the website it looks awfully gray, and I've always said over the years that the colors in person look a lot different than they do on the site, and this is also one of those situations where the purple 14 Pros I think pop a bit more and have a bit more of a saturated color opposed to what they show on the website. But either way, I got the silver 14 Pro Max 128 gig, and we're ready to begin the unboxing experience. So I'm just gonna pull the paper tabs, no plastic of course anymore, and do the unboxing straight on location. I picked this up just mere minutes ago and I couldn't wait to drive home to unbox it, so that's why we're unboxing it in the car. But let's have ourselves a look. Whoa! Oh my god. I instantly regret getting graphite on my old iPhone. That is such a clean chrome trim around the edges. Look at that. Wow. And of course, the camera bump is facing outward because that's where Apple put a lot of emphasis this year. So, ooh, yeah, I can tell straight away this thing is carrying a lot of weight to it. Just about the heaviest iPhone of all time. Just 0.01 ounces heavier than the 13 Pro Max, but look at how it shines. That shimmer is absolutely golden. And no, I don't mean the gold iPhone. So this we don't care about. We could ignore that. Let's, of course, get to the main star of the attraction. We just gotta peel this plastic here very quietly. Ooh. That is clean. And you know what's funny? Even though the display's not on yet, you can kind of see the remnants of the eye hole. If the light hits it just right, I'm not sure if you guys are picking up on it, but Dynamic Island, when it's not activated, you can see the two separate cutouts in the True Depth camera system. So it's like all of these leaks, all of these rumors led up to us completely misunderstanding how Apple would get the software. But yeah, either way, I think this looks absolutely gorgeous, despite the fact that, yes, it's very similar to last year's model. model, I know. I just didn't really get much of a chance to check out the silver iPhone in the past, and the last time I checked out a silver 13 Pro, it was a lot more of a faded white. This feels like a lot more of an accented white, which looks awesome, and I'm glad they fixed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to boot it up here. I'm actually recording this video with my 13 Pro Max, so I'm a little bit nervous that it's gonna try to like pop up on the other phone and want to be set up through there. But yeah, the channel members I'm live streaming to right now are asking me if the iPhone silver matches the white Tesla. Yeah, I think they were kind of made for each other, you know, the white phone with the white car. It's kind of intentional. Oh, and here we are. We're on the pop-up, and when you're looking at the dynamic island straight on, it tends to blend in. You can kind of tell that there's off pixels versus not off pixels, like actual hole. So I'm gonna swipe up and start setting up this bad boy, and boom, we're ready to choose a Wi-Fi network. And you know, even though that the dynamic island is moving downward further than the old iPhone 13 notch is, maybe it's because I got the Pro Max, but it doesn't feel like it's cutting more in on content. Maybe I'll change my mind once I'm actually watching YouTube videos on this thing, and then I'll start to notice it a tad more. But the other thing that I'm also not picking up on is the fact that the camera bump is bigger. It's harder to notice with the Pro Max, but when I was in the store, I briefly checked out the regular 6.1-inch 14 Pro, and man, the camera bump just looks hilarious on that phone. I don't even think a case is going to accurately protect those lenses on the back, so I feel bad for people that drop their phone a lot because their lenses are going to be in trouble because they're huge. Okay, so you don't actually need the internet, and it wants me to set up Face ID now, but I love that they've integrated the Face ID animation into the dynamic island. That used to be like its own screen. Now it's just an expansion from the top, which is really cool. So I'm going to set up Face ID real quick. Done this a million times, but it looks so different now. The fact that Apple has the bezel like the same equal size all the way around, some people said they don't really notice that the side bezel is thinner. I do. I picked up on it right away when I unboxed the phone, and the like equal distant gap around the island completely that lines up perfectly with the bezel is so satisfying to look at. It's just those little details like that that make me love Apple so much. Ooh, Face ID is now set up. Look at the, I love that. I love how it, even during the setup experience, the software integrates into that system, which is gorgeous. Wants me to choose between light mode and dark mode. I'd rather it be automatic, and I don't see the option for that. Maybe it's that by default. Standard display zoom is good as well for me. Oh, and during the emergency SOS screen, they're even already talking about the emergency SOS via satellite, which they say is coming later this year. And boom, welcome to iPhone. There we have it. We're booted up. We're on the lock screen. Ooh, this is a pretty clean look. I love how they've even thinned out the earpiece at the top, even more so than the 13 series. It's like a very, very, very narrow cutout in that top bezel. But one thing I did notice, because I'm unboxing this kind of outside in my car here, is the display feels brighter, just like right out of the box. And this is one of the brightest smartphone displays you can possibly get now, so that's one selling point that you don't hear too many people talking about. But if I switch to the front-facing camera, ooh, yeah, that picks up a lot of detail. I can see a lot of my freckles already. I guess I might as well just record a video. This is my first video shot on the 14 Pro Max using the front-facing camera. Let's compare it to the back. So boom, just like that, once macOS Ventura launches, we can actually start using this as a webcam for all of our live streams, which is kind of cool. But yeah, honestly, I don't know if it's a massive improvement over the 13 Pro Max in terms of overall quality. It's still 4K at 60, but one advantage is we do have cinematic mode, which can now be done at 4K. So boom, this is what cinematic mode looks like at the full 4K resolution, but still limited to 24 or 30 FPS though. I'd really love to see it make the bump to 60. I know it's not technically cinematic, but hey, neither is 30 FPS. So this is, I think, the camera mode that will fool the most amount of people as to whether or not you're filming with a camera or an iPhone, which I guess is everyone's camera now. But hopefully they left some room for improvement for next year's camera to be shot at a higher frame rate as well. So the easiest way to test out Dynamic Island just to see if it's working is to just flip the ringer switch back and forth. Whoa, I love that. You're getting the haptic feedback, you're getting the visual feedback around, which is cool, and it minimizes the little side icons. That is so intuitively integrated. I love that look. And oh yeah, this is supposed to have always on display. Oh, that's it. Okay, this is what it looks like when you just lock your phone. That's the default configuration. I don't know. know how I feel about that. I know that Apple has made it very intelligent so that if you leave your phone in a room and you walk out with your Apple Watch on, it will turn this display off because it knows that you're not in the room. So that's a really smart way to save on battery life, but I'm honestly impressed with how bright it is. I was not expecting always on display to still feel like the screen is still very easy to read, and even in straight daylight you can tell what the time is and everything, and you can still see all the widgets. Also, that icon for Face ID, you know, when the phone is locked like this and then it detects you, like the dynamic island just shows the little unlock animation and then it shrinks down again. That's such a clever way to showcase. I'm sorry, I know I'm very easily impressed by Dynamic Island. I just think it's so intelligent and so smart to embed all that in the top rather than have a whole separate lock icon down by the calendar, everything. It looks way more organized, way cleaner this way. So good on you, Apple, for coming up with that. Of course, Raise to Wake still does the job. It just kind of lights up a little bit more bright, but it definitely feels like the time and stuff is held up higher. Maybe it's because they're expecting me to put more widgets down here, but all of that data feels like it's a lot higher up than it used to be because we're used to having the notch, then the lock icon, then the calendar and the time and everything. So that just probably takes some getting used to, but I could already understand why some people might prefer that. And also we have this 2x button in the camera app. I want to see if I can punch in. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like you lose out on any quality when you use the 2x lens, which is nice. But what's weird to me is how, like, even on the edges outside of the camera preview, it's still a little shaky and it's still not lined up. Like, why is the excess bezel part of the camera app still using a different lens for 2x? Is it still using the ultra-wide camera? Shouldn't, if this is like a digital zoom, it just use the non-zoomed part of the 48 megapixel camera? And ultra-wide still looks pretty awesome. That's the camera lens I'm using on the 13 Pro Max right now, just because it lets you see everything in a more wide field of view opposed to just my face. So yeah, I've definitely got a lot of testing to do and eSIM to mess around with. I've been hearing about how easy Apple has made it, luckily, for a lot of carriers, but because I'm probably going to be jumping back between physical SIM and eSIM, I'm a little bit hesitant to set it up. We'll see, but I know Mint Mobile supports it. But of course, I'll have lots of tests and impressions videos to make after this. Let me know what you guys would like me to cover first with the 14 Pro Max ownership experience, and of course, let me know how much you're enjoying yours down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you all in the next one.